Ohio State has a bad pass blocking line, and that's primarily due to the fact that they have a weak interior offensive line. And this is going to be magnified by the fact that Tennessee is an elite pass rushing team. By now, you probably know about James Pierce, as he is sensational. But in addition to him, Tennessee's starting lineup consists of two other good pass rushing defensive tackles and Dominic Bailey, who is a solid edge rusher in his own right. This is going to be something we talk about in depth further, so keep this in the back of your mind. But for now, we're going to shift to the fact that Ohio State has good run blocking, but Tennessee has elite run defense. So that is going to be another edge for the Tennessee defensive line, as they're able to control the line of scrimmage in both facets of the game. They have a really good linebacker in Jeremiah Talander. He will be talked about further in this video, but for now, I'm going to say that he is a very good thumper in the run game and pulls the Tennessee defense together. Someone else who does the same, but much more, is the stud edge rusher James Pierce Jr. He is so very good. He's great, even against the run and the pass. So he has no deficiencies whatsoever in what he can contribute. He's going against a poor pass blocking offensive tackle in Donovan Jackson. So this is a really big mismatch. And I think it's going to be one that Ohio State is going to need to just continually get chips involved, be it from the tight end or from the running back. They can't leave Jackson alone. And I think it's going to be too difficult to double team Pierce because they're going to need to double team one of the defensive tackles as well. And at that point, you're double teaming half the team. So that's just not going to work. So chipping is going to be a must for Ohio State. Moving forward, we have that Bryson Eason is a good pass rusher, and he's going to be double teamed more than likely by Carson Hinsman, who is horrible, and Joshua Padilla, who is a question mark. I would not feel very safe in that being the line to stop a very good defensive tackle in Eason. So that's a bit worrisome. You have to worry about James Pierce Jr. and Bryson Eason. That's not ideal. Finally, for the last advantage for Tennessee, we have that they have a solid Omari Thomas, who is greater than Ohio State's right guard Tegra. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, I'm sorry, but Tegra is not very good. And Thomas is a very solid contributor. So this is again a mismatch. Tegra is much better than Hinsman, as Hinsman is one of the worst pass blocking linemen, according to PFF, in the nation. Tegra is nowhere near that, but he's still not great. As we shift now to Ohio State's advantages, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more football content. And with that out of the way, let's get into Ohio State's advantages. As you could probably imagine, it's going to start with the wide receiver position because that is their biggest strength, arguably. And there they have a gem slot receiver in Emeka Egbuka. He is much better than the bad nickelback for Tennessee, who has an awesome name, unfortunately, in Boo Carter. He cannot cover Egbuka in man, so that just is thrown out the window right away. And he's not good enough in zone coverage in his own right to cover Egbuka. So that's going to be a very tough matchup for Tennessee. There's just not really a way to hide Boo Carter, And Egbuka is so good in his own right that it's going to be really pronounced that Boo is not up to the challenge. The next thing I like for Ohio State's offense is that they have a solid halfback in Travion Henderson, and he is better than the negative pass coverage linebacker I mentioned before, Jeremiah Talander. He's also, Henderson that is, better than the mid coverage linebacker, Arion Carter. So no matter who is thrown at him to stop him, unless it's a safety, which at that point that's going to be pretty difficult to navigate for the defense. So Henderson is possibly going to be a big contributor in this matchup. Someone, though, I think is going to be surprisingly not a great contributor, and this is no disrespect to him, this is more respect to his opponent, is Jeremiah Smith. He is a stud. He is one of the absolute best receivers in the nation, but so too is, on the opposite side, Jamad McCoy. He is a very, very good cornerback, and Smith's advantages will thereby likely come when he's covered by Ricky Gibson III, who is a solid player in his own right, but just does not compare at all to Jeremiah Smith. McCoy can match up, at least, with Smith. I don't think the same can be said about Gibson at all. Defensively, they have a mid pass blocking unit in Tennessee, and they're going against a good pass rushing Ohio State defense. They have good edge rushers for getting after the quarterback, and defensive tackle Ty Hamilton is quality as well. So that is a good trio of rushers to throw at a not so good offensive line. Again, it's not bad, but it's not a strength. And it is definitely a strength for Ohio State that they have such good pass rushers at defensive tackle and both edge positions. So it's hard to hide a poor offensive line because it's coming at you from multiple angles. And that's going to be something we talk about a little bit more in greater depth down the line. Right now, we have that they also have Tennessee, that is, a poor run blocking unit versus a great run defense in Ohio State. Defensive tackle Tyleek Williams is a star, and JT, I do not know how to pronounce his last name either. I really struggle with these names, is a gem as well. And Jack Sawyer, he's great. Linebacker Cody Simon is a good thumper as well. There's a lot to like for the Ohio State run defense. There's other contributors as well, but those are the key ones right there that are really star run defenders. So that's really, really good for them that they have so many guys to defend the run, because in college, defending the run is right up there with defending the pass. Not like in the pros where defending the pass is king. It is essential that you stop the run, and Ohio State can do that for certain. Next for Ohio State is the aforementioned edge rusher JT. He is a star versus the run, and he is good versus the pass. He's going against a lacking offensive tackle in Lance Hurd, so that is a distinct advantage for Ohio State. It's not just good, it's good on bad. And in addition to being not so good against the pass, or with the pass rather, Hurd is terrible versus the run. So, or with the run. I don't know why I keep saying verse. Hurd is a very poor offensive lineman, and I think he's going to be taken advantage of by Ohio State throughout this game. Speaking of taken advantage of, we have star edge rusher Jack Sawyer, who again is great versus the run, and solid versus the pass. I wouldn't say he's great against the pass, but he's not bad by any stretch. He's going against a bad offensive tackle in John Campbell Jr., who is poor in the run and pass department. So that is not a great matchup as well. And that's both tackles that are uniquely poorly equipped to stop very good edge rushers. Finally, for the last advantage for Ohio State's players, we have that they have a good nickelback in Jordan Hancock, who is very good in man coverage, and they play a lot of man coverage. I believe it's over 35% for basically all of their cornerbacks and defensive backs that are playing near the line like that. I say that because there are sometimes safeties that play in the nickelback position, so it's a little bit difficult to label them. But Hancock is much greater than the poor wide receiver in Squirrel White, so that is going to be something that is going to be particularly pronounced, as White will be one on one with a player that is much better than him. The final advantage for Ohio State is a very simple one, and it is that they have home field advantage, which is a large advantage. It matters more in college than it does in the pros, and Ohio State has a great home field advantage, so that is very advantageous to them. With all of this said, who am I leaning towards? And I think it's pretty apparent based on the amount of advantages I talked about. Ohio State just kept racking them up, and Tennessee had some, but just not as many. I'm going with Ohio State, and I feel confident in them. I think you could bet the -8, I believe it is, for Ohio State and be fine if you want to bet on this game. Ohio State, just to me, is a much better and more complete team. They have the receivers, the edge rushers, defensive line just completely set. And Tennessee, they have the defensive line for sure. But after there, it just becomes a little bit less complete. So I'm going with Ohio State. Those are my thoughts on the game. Be sure to let me know what yours are in the comment section. And also be sure to like and subscribe for more football content.